Thank you so much, Ginsu. And even then, whoever wins this matchup potentially could beat 100 Thieves, but 100 Thieves still have to beat Sentinels. So it's still going to be not easy here for the route that 100 Thieves has throughout this whole tournament. But let's focus back into this third map. Renegades versus Envy, tied 1-1, where we have that pinch going back into the A side again for Renegades. And it's Berghy opening it up as he's turtling inside the site. He's an anchor player, gets one kill, running back to the teleporter. They're getting chased at the same time, but there is one waiting inside that teleporter. As they run through, Food gets the first kill, traded off by randyySavage inside that area. But they have made it inside the site, and you also have to thank the trap bars that were left inside towards B and the camera. It's being a nuisance right now for Caboose, and he's looking, and now he's getting drone, he's getting camera. Man, he's got a target on his back when we were talking about targets on backs, and he still manages to stay alive. Nobody's pushing forward from that. And recon dart towards the ground, the first chip to come through, and randyySavage finally gets the kill after all that, and a wall bang for the end.
If you could see my face right now, man, I'm losing it. That was we've seen so many crazy pistols today, but we just saw 5 Renegades players facing down 5 Envy players at A because they took the teleporter from B, right? So you had a 5-on-5 A site hold on pistol, essentially. 4 out of 5 players, basically all 5 players of Envy take the teleporter, and all 5 players of Renegades take the teleporter. Like, the amount of movement that all 10 of these players in the server just did in the pistol round is absurd. And the fact of the matter is, I love it. That was wild. And Renegades came out on top with what I would describe as an unconventional strategy on pistol that just pays off hard. And like you said, Food in that teleporter desperately trying to hold that TP. But when you have 5 players jumping through it all at the same time, you're lucky to even get one. That said, Renegades, who really, eventually on Ascent, they took the strong lead after winning pistol, after winning the first few rounds. They didn't get eco'd. They were able to get an early lead. They were able to get the economy rolling. And that's why it seemed so one-sided early on in map 1. Now, here in map 3, after getting decimated, looking for a little bit of momentum coming your way. Finally winning that pistol. I think, as this A play comes out, the force buy from Envy, this is so important for Renegades to hold. And Renegades will grab the first, but then 2 of those players fall. So U-Haul still in possession of, I believe that's Berghy in there. Yes, crashies is going to try and flank him. He's facing every bit of opposition from this Envy squad. And both those players may just TP to B at this point, and there they go. And they should be able to get the spike here. There's only a camera as the cage gets popped. But Renegades facing this force buy down into a 2v2 post-plant scenario.
I like how they knew exactly where the camera was at too, as soon as they got through that cyber cage. So that nullifies things, and the recon dart doesn't spot much. We're trying to bang through the tuna can, and from that shot, they know somebody's playing close, and it's gonna be mummAy. It's traded off though. Last one's about to run through the smoke. He hears the footsteps as Caboose is moving forward. The tap, the kill, and it's gonna be the force buy in favor of Envy.
Man, I was trying to build it up like this is so important for Renegades. They can't lose it. And I almost feel a little responsible because Caboose clearly took that energy and just wiped the floor with Renegades with it. Well played to Envy. That was a sick round. You make the contact over at U-Haul, and Renegades is doing the right thing. Retro's there with I believe it was a judge, right? He has his rotators in there, and you're playing that angle. You're playing that position, to force Envy into a crossfire. And it seemed like Renegades, one after another, are solo challenging it instead. I don't know whether that was a miscue or what, but Envy capitalized. Some nice shots came out. And yeah, another force buy that just is successful in a way that we didn't, I won't say that I'm rarely seeing it by any means, but certainly in this series, the force buys have been potent, to say the very least. Not just the Sheriff buys, not just the likes of Envy, but they're so scary consistently in these rounds where, you want to almost think of it as a straight up gun round. And, we were talking about it a bit in the last map, with the way the money system works, Vancillians, it's something I actually really enjoy about Valorant. It's just kind of forcing players as the meta shifts towards using full SMGs and not upgrading early. And, it's a very diverse, I'd say, weapon selections across the course of a match.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see the change in the meta in that way.
And at the same time, we're like, oh, well, when this map first came and the gimmick of the teleporter, it's like nobody wants to use it because it makes so much noise. And now you see how consistently it's being used. And now you have evolved from like using an owl drone to open some sliding doors, some paint shells, some darts here and there. And now it goes out to even fully body pushes into the teleporter for trade. So you're starting to see how these maps are continuing to develop in terms of strategy and how they want to use it to their advantage on either what team you are. But let's focus back on the action match. There's only 10 seconds left, and they still haven't gotten the plant yet. Finally, they do so, and unfortunately, they cannot flank fast enough.
If Winsum had killed him with the Roomba, very decent chance Envy doesn't plant the spike in time. Despite that, they do. They clean up the kills. And yeah, just Berghy here in a 1v3. I don't anticipate he'll get anything else out of here, but 13 HP remaining. Kind of a tough spot. But yeah, I just wanted to take that around and be like, yo, Silly, how cool is it that that the economy is kind of like not necessarily dictating changes in the way that we're seeing the economy shift around, but this could have something to do with the op meta kind of being pushed around towards later stages in the half. And the reason I say that is, you know, a lot of time those ghost saves from the pistol that we referenced, you know, frequently at least as being a risk, not having firepower and maybe being a reason why your team gets eco'd. Now you're seeing, you know, most sides are opting to just full buy into it with Spectres or Stingers. And the result of that is, you know, you maybe get an operator a little bit later on in the game, but you have a more consistent economy. You have these rounds that are much more straightforward and consistent. And so, you know, moving into this gun round here for Renegades, you look for the first kill is so important, and there it is from Retro. It's a good response to Envy's early, I'd say, lead through brute force over here at B, and now we're moving back to the A side, and Food is going to get a wall bang on a Retro's trying to get out of the way. Or he's going to face the challenge next. Finds the spike on Caboose, dropped him. Traded out quickly by Food, 3-on-3. Should get the spike down here at any moment, but the showstopper from Winsum scares them enough to at least delay that somewhat.
I don't think they have spike control.
Spike is down in showers, yes, right below Winsum. And, you know, we see Food pressuring CP2. He's going to find the kill. mummAy with the flank. Suddenly this is a 1-on-2. This went from Renegades' advantage into an almost unwinnable situation from Winsum. And wow, Envy. I don't know what just happened with the miscues from Renegades, but a lot of over-peeking being done, throwing that advantage into the wind, and unfortunately, unawares as to the location of mummAy, who's flanking through heaven, and that's just unfortunately for CP2.
Definitely a mix of that.
I was getting really excited in building that round up, Silly, to be like, you know, a good mark and a starting point for a Renegades half, and, you know, unfortunately, we may be looking at a repeat of what Split was, right? Where Envy just kind of runs away with it.
Well, it's just the angles that they had, too, from the remaining players, is after you lose the first player inside showers, nobody's able to watch the angle towards you anymore, which now makes it that the last two players are very tunnel vision on the two players of Envy that are pushing solely from the APC side, which allows mummAy to get that flank and then the backstab in the end. So, yes, definitely some miscommunication from Renegades at that point, and that's going to put them back on an eco where they definitely could have turned it around onto the last half, or the last round, especially when they got so many kills early into that round. And yeah, FNS is just going to continue to get these type of kills this time.
He's cheating.
Don't say that. How about
Retro is too? Look at this man. He's collecting headshots.
Yeah, so two dices coming in from the kunais. Up towards short A, but the rest are now moving inside the B site for Envy. That's 3 players alive. Now Retro on his own. Still has his eyes out. 4 blades. Dashes towards the site. Another refresh. Vandal picked up. Little upgrade coming through. And now he's just going to tap onto the spike. A big curveball. And a Roomba that's going to come back at the same time. Now as he comes towards the left, he gets the kill. Looks on the left. Can he get it? He runs out of mines. Too slow on the Vandal to come out as Caboose saves it for Envy, but it was so close for Retro on the eco for Renegades to make it 3-2. But unfortunately, it's a different storyline, it's a different timeline, and it's Envy in the lead by 3.
Oh my goodness, he outplayed them so hard.
He throws the tailwind onto the spike, so the Roomba isn't going to detect whether or not he's there. So the flash comes out. The Raze has to wide swing. That was Caboose. And unfortunately, Retro just could not land those daggers in the end, but almost gets it done. Tremendous effort out of him. And Renegades getting a second stab at what I would say a chance to take control of this half. This gun round is so huge in regards to building an economy.
Sand.
And yeah, just ever fleeting. The idea that you can somehow gain control against Envy, who is just rebounding so well after that first map loss. Berghy getting scanned, forced to fall back. The ultimate from Food does get popped. The run it back finds one under Retro. That's a huge entry on Caboose. FNS grabbing one more before Winsum trades him. Just one kill out. That will be U-Haul. Grabs another one on the run. Drive by and a third headshot out of Winsum. The Vandal comes through in a big way. And suddenly this is an advantage towards Renegades in the post plan as FNS wraps around. I take it back. Suddenly it's just one player remaining on randyySavage. A little quiet over here in the last several rounds and finds himself in a 1v2 scenario, finds the first kill, moving out of the bomb site. 1v1, clock ticks away as the spike creeping towards detonation. FNS, who is wrapped around that truck and found 2 different kills, grabs his third on randyySavage with the elusive Cypher plays. You know, looking so good for Envy right now at 5-1. I wonder whether or not the momentum that we described that was moving into split, right? You know, you have a great map 1, Van Silly, and then maybe all the magic is gone at this point. 5-1 Envy is in command of this game. On top of that as well, I'm just checking the scoreboard here. You know, you do have both Hunter's Fury up, but I'm a little concerned whether or not, you know, the defender side of Bind, typically we think of this map as defender-sided, whether there's anything that, you know, other than building an economy and winning a couple of these rounds, Renegades, you know, has an answer for. Like, these rounds are close, but Envy just seems unfazed.
Yeah, so far it's been these pulse plants retakes. I think that seems to be the bigger issue for Renegades, because they do have the right positioning, they do have the right amount of numbers. Then well, at least the ones that are anchoring, if they're being outnumbered, they're still getting kills too. So it might go back to that same type of conversation: is are they actually letting Envy get too much map control, where they actually fight back? I wouldn't say so, because there was that one gun round where you had mummAy that got that flank onto Heaven. They pressed double 2 players towards the showers and even dropped the spike carrier in that area. And as you see, they're going through the teleporter and they're trying to go and do these big plays and try to backstab Envy and surprise the elements. So they are trying to get the map control and they are trying to surprise their opponent, but it's not working out. So yes, of course, it was still a small buy going in here for
Ha! You don't see that too often.
I always miss knives in Valorant. I don't know why. It's not the same as CS. I'm just terrible at knifing, yet I still spend money on packages.
Between the FOV and the range on the knife, yeah, no, I whiff them all the time. Yeah. I'm actually stunned that he had the confidence to go for it, even if he knows that you know, he's gonna be stabbing somebody in the back. I feel like me in that scenario, I win. You know what I mean? Like, the knife hits nothing but air. Yep. He turns around slowly. The observer catches every moment of it, and I'm humiliated for the rest of my life. So, mummAy going for the knife kill there. A little bit of style points, even if it is on an anti-eco. And you know, kind of what you're saying, you know, about the state of this game at this point. I just hope to see a response in Renegades at some point in this game to make this a little bit closer, because, you know, the last map rather was hard to describe it any other way than the stomp, you know?
It's gonna start with the ops, Alex. We're gonna hope that the op that they finally invest into CP2 is gonna be that answer that they're looking for. And they also still have that Hunter's Fury. So I think so far, in my opinion, for this round, this type of round, I'd probably still give the op to somebody like the Jett operator with Retro. And then, because you have a Hunter's Fury, if you're actually going to have your opponent that's going to watch from that cubby area into the octagon anyways, if he spawns people, you can pop your Hunter's Fury right away. But instead, they have two players together watching that angle to start, and now they're both watching towards the hookah area where randyySavage dies, unfortunately, right? So you have to be discovered already there because your teammate wasn't there to help you because he had an owl drone to try to scout out towards the B side area. At least CP2 connects to a shot, but he's already down to 2 HP. This is going to be impossible for him to stay alive, but check that out! He gets a no-scope onto kaboose as he flies towards the air, but then Food retaliates. That's 2 kills of his own. A 3 versus 2 now as Retro's looking for that flank. Pujan, FNS just at the bottom of the window looking up towards the air. A date to come through, and he gets the wall bang onto mummAy. Then the crossfire setup. The Tides have turned. Renegades takes the upper hand, and we have Food on his own. And funny enough, he actually switches out to the operator that was left behind from his opponent. This is going to be a hard hold. A dash into the site. The right clicks have to ring true, and he gets the first contact. No, actually it rings off the tin. And Retro gets the last kill, and Renegades a much-needed round as they capitalize on it.
CP2. CP2. What was that shot, man?
That was beautiful,
Oh
man.
my goodness.
I don't even know if he scoped or not. It was so fast.
Oh, it was a quick scope, but it didn't even get to that point. He just let it rip. He knew he was dead a moment later. Wow, the fact that that landed. I mean, you pointed out several different, aspects of their B hold and their defense right there that are pretty glaring and things that I didn't even notice or think about, Vansili, but I wonder whether or not Renegades, watching this VOD back later tonight when they're like, how did we lose this bad in this half? Can go back and at least listen to that insight because that's actually a valid point regarding the Hunter's Fury. I mean, that would have stopped that B push pretty succinctly, I feel like. At least coming out of hookah, but doesn't matter. I guess if you just point towards the sky and click with your operator, sometimes that gets the job done even better. But wow, what a shot. That'll end up on Twitter, being circulated on the internet for a while, I imagine. That said, you know what? If there was going to be a momentum swinging round, a lot of times you see like clutches or like sick aces be the defining point in a game where, or huge mistakes where teams either lose or win. That could be it. Maybe a momentum swing where finally the teammates, everybody's up and hyped, screaming about it.
Joke's over. You're dead.
Nevertheless, a push coming in quickly from Envy. Berghy fends off the ultimate, 2 ultimates, mind you, and finding a kill on Caboose. Well done to him. Udo and FNS do find kills, but the showstopper from Winsum cleans up another refrag. 3-on-3 now. Food forced to heal himself a bit at bench. Misses his toss, but it doesn't matter. Winsum flubs the what would have been an easy kill there, and now it's a 3-on-2. Renegades spoiling their advantage, and Food over here at Showers is going to opt to probably wrap back around all the way as his position has been revealed, and this is looking bad for Renegades now, having just won the previous. You're facing the loss of an operator, potentially anyway, if he doesn't save it, and an economic reset, and really, this A push should have been stopped by Renegades, and it straight up was not, despite the fact that, both ultimates out of Envy were spoiled. Berghy popped the Phoenix, run it back, and then stopped the Caboose showstopper post-release of it, of course, but it looked like an amazing A-hold in the making, but instead Envy getting the better of Renegades once again. 7-2. This half is already lost. But you want every round that you could possibly, scrape together at this point, Vansili.
Yeah. And Retro's going to go for a Bucky because with this buy, he could still have the Blade Storm. So use that for long range, Bucky for short range, unless he wants to go for a quick dash towards the ramp. And here we go. The dash comes through. A big paranoia, but he gets flashed himself and unfortunately does not connect to any kills. At least CB2 is able to trade it off towards with an operator from the hookah side down the ramp. That's a spike down as well. They haven't really adapted yet because you still have FNS lurking towards this short A. CB2 falling back into the site. His teammate as well. And FNS has made it behind a towel box. Well, that spike is looking to get picked up and be met up with FNS as he already has that control, but this is a perfect camera setup from randyySavage. That's going to see the showers. That's going to see Edward. That's going to start walking towards the A main. And that is also going to be an Omen teleport from the heavens too. So definitely difficult position now for Renegades, but a double up on showers could definitely be doable. Paranoia to look back towards the spawn from mummAy. a smoke towards the showers that nullifies all type of defense towards the entrance. And that should allow now Envy to get into the site.
Spike planted.
Spike will get planted. End up in PT right there as TP2. He misses his shot. mummAy capitalizes. And Renegades, who consistently have been outmaneuvered and outplayed in a lot of these mid-round scenarios. Envy showing why we regard them as one of the better teams in North America. That said, randyySavage with a rebuttal of his own finds two Vandal Crisp taps down at U-Haul. Hat comes out. Information will be revealed, but mummAy will get the first kill, and now it's just Berghy. Yeah, time is ticking. This is most certainly an Envy round, but just for a moment in this game, maybe 2 moments, Renegades look like they might have a chance, but Envy is just snatching that away now. In fact, if you look at the scoreboard, you see crashies at 2 and 8, you know, just kind of chilling over there on the other side of the map.
It's not needed.
Working a default, just watching his teammates farm. Yeah, he doesn't need to do a whole lot. And the other side of the scoreboard, I mean, it's a pretty fairly even distribution over here.
Yeah.
It seems like this is a team failure rather than an individual, you know, misplay or performance. So that's a good thing, I guess. But for Renegades now, this is not only frustrating for the second map in a row of really not having answers for this aggression out of Envy. I won't call it aggression, actually, just the attack side. They're working very slow and deliberate. But, you know, we could hope for 4 here. It's probably not going to happen. Kaboose just handling business at hookah. Satchel charges on in there and collects 2 beautiful kills. Retro hanging onto this Vandal outside showers may be something to keep an eye on as FNS seems to be wise to it. Retro still wins his battle, his duel. And you know what? This is a 1-on-5. I don't know if you're going to be able to do this, Retro, but
yeah,
why not, man? So bye next round.
And as we
another
casted,
headshot.
When we casted Envy at the beginning of the round or beginning of the day versus Complexity, the question was like, what were our thoughts for the flashes of the Phoenix, right, on this map? Look at that, as I talked about it, a perfect curveball. Thankfully, the dark cover was there to help Retro, but at least it's helping press that pressure from all angles here for Envy for that 3 versus 1. But at the same time, as you saw that flash that came through from Food, he threw it straight into hookah when Kaboose is satchel charging into that area as well. So when we talked about Complexity that was missing a little bit of team play for hookah control, Envy plays it a lot better, at least in my opinion, from also using the utilities to allow this map control for Envy inside that area. So those curveballs, as useful as it is to put the Blazewell up towards the cake on A side, still very good in the way it's being used here for the hookah.
Yeah, actually, that's a great call, man. So that was something that we noticed earlier, was Food struggling to get into the B bomb site with Kaboose on the hookah control, and a lot of times you saw him get picked on the entry, but he is clearly, you know, reset from this morning and is absolutely taking matters into his own hands now. Retro with a rebuttal of his own once again, coming through the TP, and finds a spike for his, you know, little bit of effort.
Player remaining.
Had to sweat a bit for it, but got 2 in the spike. But Berghy stranded over here at Fountain. Obviously, I don't think, maybe it isn't obvious, but I don't think Envy has any idea he's over here. So this actually is a great power position for the rest of this round, barring the idea that maybe they go back towards A.
Exactly. I was going to say that was a possibility.
Player remaining.
Finds one on a Kaboose. 1v1 now. FNS versus Berghy on the B bomb site. Spike not planted yet. 30 seconds remain. Paranoia comes out. It nails FNS
30
right
seconds
in the
left.
face. And Berghy takes the superior angle, catches FNS off guard, cleans up the 3rd headshot of the round, and hey,
Switching sides.
Renegades back on the board. 9-3 half.
Yeah, I don't think it's too late right now for Renegades. 9-3. Yes, it looks like it's a far spread, but again, it's that storyline of winning pistol and then losing on your anti-eco. Just makes it a little bit tougher. And I say anti-eco, but we did have the force coming through from Envy to be able to win that round. So they have to find a way to really try to swing those 2 rounds in a row, make that even the 3rd if they could use that bonus round versus the rifles, where we've seen a lot of success coming through here from Envy with that too.
Right.
And that's
hey,
what
wasn't
stakes on communications, right? So
Wasn't it in the last map as well on Split? They won pistol, and then they like lost 6 straight or something like that.
something
Is
like
that
that.
am I
Something like
accurate?
that.
I might be wrong. I might be thinking of the complexity matchup earlier against Envy. However, it looks awfully familiar, like you were saying, Vans. And I just wanted to emphasize what you were saying. Like,
Well, I
winning
think I
pistol
do
and then-
remember like them winning pistol, and then they lost to 2 sheriffs from crashies and caboose. And that, I
Right.
think was Ascent.
Yeah, I think I might need to fact check myself on that, but I do remember Envy taking like 5 rounds straight after that slide, and here we are.
Yeah.
You know, winning pistol, losing 6 straight. Suddenly we're at halftime. You're on an eco again. Maybe you hope for a bomb plant here, but the scoreline at 9-3, giving them the 10th round. Woo. I mean, you think about those 5 rounds in the context of a big game right here, right? Like that's a lot to concede just off the back of losing your anti-eco. And I think, you know, it's not just Renegades. We've seen it in a few different matchups so far this week where teams really are struggling on anti-ecos because of the way the meta is right now. You know, stinger buys are very prevalent. People are getting extremely talented with sheriffs in this game. But, you know, that is not something that is overall very telling of a team's performance or whether or not they're going to be good down the line. So that's just another piece of homework for Renegades to work on and make sure that they're converting on those rounds, right?
Yeah.
So despite the fact that, you know, the scoreline is clearly showing Envy in both this map and the map prior, as you're saying, fans, this is unfortunately situations that are brought about by the fact that, you know, following pistol wins, losing those anti-ecos is so critical. Be building an early bank in these rounds, and the A play will coming out from Renegades, and Winsum will find that stinger frag on a mummAy at U-Haul. A little surprising on that, but he gets it done. FNS strikes first on the Jett, Berghy, and CP2 battling it out on site, trading frags back and forth. 3 players each remaining. And Winsum locked in here in U-Haul. Just needs his teammates to put the spike down to make this judge play worthwhile. I'm not sure, you know, whether or not the spike could even get planted without the Omen smokes being recharged, so they may just opt to delay a bit.
And even if they decide to take TP because they have pressure from Caboose now, there's still crashes waiting on the left side wall of Hookah. They're stuck in a tight knit right now, and there you go. Berghy's the first one to go through, and man, this is danger all over. But he's looking at the angle. It's still going to be the kill from crashies. The spike has been dropped, and things are looking not so great for Renegades right now. And even with a dart, why the hell not? Crashies starting with 1 HP. Teammates falling down. Only Retro, the last man standing. He's looking for this kill. It's only 1 HP. And now there's only 10 seconds left, but by the time he actually finally gets control of Hookah, there's already FNS that already rotated. That's well done there for Envy at that point. I like the idea of what Renegades was doing at the beginning of the round, putting the room bot basically inside the Hookah. Set dart that goes all the way from long B that bounces off the wall and goes on the top of Tunican, just to try to keep those guys cornered and anchored inside the site to allow to push inside the A area. But after that, there wasn't really anything else that could help for a surprise attack from where the position was from lamps. So I don't know if a paranoia was thrown or not, but that could have been something that could have been useful as they wanted to explode into the A site.
FNS taking this dry challenge over here at Showers. randyySavage, sharp with his aim, gets the better of him. mummAy over here at U-Haul facing the heat, and he responds appropriately. Finding 2 kills. Renegades now with 3 members remaining. randyySavage moved out of that Showers position. Is at a triple now. Finds the kill on him, mummAy. So the refrag does come out despite the fact that he had 1 HP, so he'll fall. And now it's just 1 player remaining. That's Retro over in U-Haul. 1v3. And he has the angle over here on Raze. Finds the dink, finds the frag. Okay, that's 1. 2 players remain. 1 on flank over here at short. 1 at hell position. And I don't think... I imagine Retro knows that the threat is absolutely could be on his flank.
Oh, yeah. His teammate died with the spike there.
Well, he knows that the spike is down, so he doesn't realize... He's unsure of whether or not they're guarding the spike or if they're guarding him here at short. So he should fall in just a moment. And as I say that, he does a 180 and 1 tap crash in the face. Oh my goodness, that very nearly was the second one on the food. I'm starting to believe in the caster's curse. I'm like, and he's about to die from this guy who's peeking him from behind. And as I utter the words, Retro just showing off that aim, crisp, clean lock onto the head.
After 18 years, you'll understand that it happens very often. 18 years
Hey,
of
man.
casting that every time you want to try to call somebody out, they always prove you wrong. You want to call a team out, they prove you wrong. So, kind of like it. I like to try to stay unbiased as possible and just enjoy the games as I go, which is why when people are trying to ask me for predictions, I'm like, I kind of don't want to,
I
but
want to see a good game, man. That's
exactly.
how I am. Absolutely.
That's all we want.
I don't really
That's all
care.
we want.
Hey, we're on match and series point though.
Yeah.
12-3.
Oh no. And it starts off with the kill from Caboose. They're still trying to add pressure here on the top of the long feed. And that's going to be a running back canceled by Retro. He does have a knife out. Oh, but that's it. So he falls. They're trying to push forward now, and that's a huge curveball. Long range is going to be the Omen trying to fight against them. That's Berghy right there. And his teammates all across the map. They got to try to work together here, and the Owl Drone's going to spawn him. They have their Hunter's Fury. He's tagged. There's one. The kill from Caboose. 4 versus 1. The showstopper to end the deal, but randyySavage says no. Spike is down, but mummAy finally puts him to the grave. And that's Envy winning this third and final map, 13-3, and this series 2-1.
There it is. Envy with a decisive map 2 and 3 victory. Despite dropping Ascent in map 1, hats off to Renegades. You guys had one hell of a run today.